Hi everyone, Raj Gavrola, experiencing innovation and entrepreneurial leadership. And this week we're talking about the strategy out of the 7 strategies of solving a performance gap. The first one was identifying and proving the gap. And if you didn't watch last week's video, go back and watch that because it's more than what you just reading the strategy says. So there's insights there. So you know when to go to the next step. The next step is modeling. Now you've been doing this all your life. You've been modeling your parents. You're both a combination of your mom and dad, and then of course yourself, right? And so you've been modeling all your life, whether you've realized it or not. And of course, you've been modeling even when you went into school. You've been modeling at work, and then now you're modeling in innovation and your entrepreneurship. And what can that look like? Well, that can look like, for example, let's say you're wanting to innovate or you want entrepreneurial leadership in some area. Then you can go out and you can do research and look and see who's done something similar. Obviously, you don't want to do a carbon copy. What's the point in that? And or you could do a literature review and get some knowledge, and it starts to percolate your thinking and your ideas and your vision and your mission, and takes you from starting from nowhere, which a lot of times that's where we start, to actually having a solid foundation based on a model that is of someone else's. Now here's the point. The point is you're not copying that model exactly. That model is a structure for you to create your own model. Now sometimes you may use the same structure, but because your environment, your situation is unique, the people of course are different, the dynamics are different, what your outcomes you're seeking, your breakthroughs, your objectives, your goals, your performance improvement, or solving that gap is unique to your organization, your department, your team, to your partners, your clients, to your community, to the world. I mean, there's just so many variables. However, by modeling, you will build not only your awareness, but your desire, your knowledge, and then have more of the skill set to start to think and piece together your own model that you can use to then reinforce it and actually start to make progress and achieve what it is that you want to do. So what are some examples? Well, one example is, for example, when I first got into business, I bought a gold spine book at the airport bookstore on a business trip, and it was called The Book of Business Wisdom, edited by Peter Krass. And it had all these stories of extremely successful entrepreneurs, innovators, just really great stories. And really they were essays, but in those essays were stories and just really insightful things about innovation and entrepreneurship and why and the reason for it and how and what to do and when to do it, where to do it, etc. And it just really helped me to understand what it was about and what could form a model or a base for me. And so my model was just reading those stories and filing or imprinting those into my mind to just recall them and adapt them and massage them to my situation. So if I wanted to go accomplish something great, well then, what could I tell myself? What could I think? What could I visualize, etc., to help me there? If I was running into a challenge or resistance or an obstacle, how did they approach it? So that was one of the things that I modeled. So a lot of people don't think about that, but using stories, other people's stories, is a type of modeling. Also, just, you could go and read a business book on how a business is structured, maybe, or you could read something or actually go and interview some people who started a business just like you, or created an innovation, or did some entrepreneurial leadership, and you're wanting to gain insights from them. And that's why people flock to all these conferences and events and stuff, because they're just looking for that one aha moment, that epiphany, that something that lights them up, and so they can go forward, right? And it gives them a breakthrough, or at least it stokes a breakthrough. And then, of course, the key here is what you're bringing to it, what you're bringing, your value. That's the real valuable part. All the other stuff is there to support you. It's like a reinforcement. And so obviously I have a manual called Entrepreneurial Thinking Tools, which really helps a lot of companies who are going through change. Well, we know change is a constant. So to handle or adapt to change, we've got to innovate. And you need to have the tools to be able to innovate. You need to have the structure, how the communication works, the compensation structure. You know, most companies are challenged in that area to some regards. And it's going to be different for each one, because the environment's different, the situation's different, the people are different, the teams are different, what their core business is a little different, and then how to progress along that continuum of innovation and entrepreneurial leadership. So all of that has obviously a little bit of obviously high value breakthroughs or goals or aspirations, etc. But then it also has that uncertainty. So how to put in contingencies and realize where the value is, and then realize when something is working and continue going forward. And then how to bring in the people to provide the support system, to provide the advice, the coaching, etc., and all the things that would be needed. So it's one of those areas that is different, and of course it's a lot different for someone who's just starting on their own than it is for someone in a Fortune 500 company, right? Totally different. But there's a lot of components that are the same, and you know, you're always feeding your motivation and inspiration. You need to motivate and inspire yourself. There's a lot of it out there, but really, you've got to be able to do it. You've got to motivate and inspire yourself. Now, you can go and read and attend and read books, attend seminars or conferences, listen to me speak, listen to other people speak, watch this video, buy my manual, buy my book, Winning at Entrepreneurship, all that. And all that just helps to ignite and percolate your ability, your skill set in motivating and inspiring yourself, as well as with the tools that are needed, mostly the mental performance tools and the mindset needed to really be successful at it. So that's what I have for you today. Another example of modeling is if you've ever played a sport, let's say you're playing basketball. Well, most likely you've modeled someone who you really think is a great basketball player, and you try to shoot like them. And you know, obviously, if they're a professional and you do that, and you start to see and you do that, and let's say they wrote an instruction manual on shooting, well, then you might read that. And then let's say you had an opportunity to actually talk with them and see, like, how did they really get into it? And that's when you start getting into more of the mental performance and life consulting and coaching, which is what I do, where we talk about anticipation, we talk about visualization, we talk about anxiety or performance anxiety, nervousness, confidence, stress. We talk about breakthroughs. We talk about seeing the bigger picture. We talk about strengthening. We talk about putting in together a breakthrough process, which is going to be totally different and unique for you. We talk about relationships in your sport, in your life. And then, of course, you know, we're talking innovation, entrepreneur leadership here. So with your teammates, or with your supporters, or with your clients, or with your funders, or with your people who are on your side, and then those people who are naysayers. I mean, all of that. We really talk about handling all of that, and then how to have that mindset to continue to make progress and create breakthroughs as we go to the next stage of business, the next stage, the next stage, the next stage, or the next stage of innovation, or and the entrepreneurial leadership. So that's things that I consult and coach on. And of course, I've written on. I've got the book, Winning at Entrepreneurship, and then I've got the manual, Entrepreneurial Thinking Tools Manual, which has the tools that really make it a lot easier for you to start to think about and have that mindset of being an innovator in entrepreneurial leadership. So my meaningful trigger for this evening is watching the U.S. Open tennis tournament. Last night was a great match. Millman went to the next round, so that was a pretty exciting match to watch. I think really both players won. Him and Federer won. He just won the best fun and enjoyment. I'm sure Federer had fun and enjoyment, but he just didn't win the best fun and enjoyment. But, it's just one of those things, but it was an exciting match. And then the zone effect for this week. The zone is when you're making a performance breakthrough or a lot of improvement or really improving, or you're creating some type of goal outcome that you're getting closer to or you're going towards, and you're creating just consistent breakthroughs, and you have a breakthrough process. And it's also when everything seems like it's in slow motion, and then time is not a deterring factor, so you have enough time, so it's not really something that's causing you anxiety or stress as you're performing. And then everything feels effortless. It feels effortless. And so I had a couple of zone effects this past week. One was I set a zone effect in the number of push-ups that I did. And the number doesn't really matter. I'm not trying to compare myself to anyone. This is just my own personal best in the number of push-ups I did. And being one who's been rehabilitating for years from injury, I was very happy because I made a significant breakthrough. But I had a breakthrough process to do it, and I had the right knowledge, the right support, coaching or system, and the right reinforcement, and of course motivating, inspiring myself, and just had that mindset, that breakthrough mindset, and realizing that it's going to happen, but obviously it didn't happen immediately. And so my situation is totally unique to anybody else's situation. So I work with clients in all types of situations, and I really understand the uniqueness, the differences in each one. And I try to tell them to stop comparing yourself to someone else. What you're trying to do, or what you want to do, is what is your breakthroughs. And as you start to do that and build that, who knows? You will surely go a lot further in everything that you do, and you might just end up being the world champion in push-ups if you really want to keep going. But obviously that's not a goal of mine. It just helps me with my overall everything, and playing sports and strength, and just feels a sense of accomplishment. And breakthrough is always amazing. So when I have a breakthrough, I call that a robust day. The other one is when I was playing tennis. This side of the court, this side, this is the service line, this is the service line over here. And so we're hitting the ball back and forth inside the service line, me and my partner. And we broke through our record, and we went over 50 to 62. And previously we were at 49. And so we had to really put a breakthrough process in. And at one time he was like, oh, the bar's too high. And I was like, well, not really. We did 49. We can get over 50. And so we had to coach each other and provide that mutual support. And we got to 62. And so now what we're doing is we're finding that this is a great way to warm up before a match. And so I've created a different type of way to use it so that we can work on our power and control, the feeling of the ball, and all that, all within inside the service line. right, within the service line. So this is one service line, this is the other service line, okay? And so that area in between there, controlling it back and forth over the net, back and forth, just inside the service line. And then go cross court, go down the line, go inside out, right? Forehand, backhand. So that's the next exercise that we're doing. And we did a variation of that, which is a little hard to explain here, so I won't do it. But that's what I have for you this week. And if there is something here that resonates with you that you think I can help, I appreciate your consideration of engaging my services and my products, and would like to talk with you about helping you and working with you and understand what your specific situation is, what breakthroughs you want, goals in your innovation and entrepreneurial leadership and in your life, which you can't separate the two, obviously. And then also, you can contact me at 864-569-2315 or at rajgavrula.com. Send me an email. So that's the way to contact me. And I'll be watching again the U.S. Open tonight. Thank you.